Thank you very much today for having me here, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share with you some of my research. And I would like to start my presentation with a simple graph to show you where I come from with my research and what I have prepared for today. So as you can see, my main field of interest is migrant entrepreneurship research with a particular focus on refugee entrepreneurship. And today I would like to focus on the intersection of refugee entrepreneurship with the literature on highly skilled migrants and gender. As you can see, this yellow spot in the middle, this is exactly where I aim to contribute with my study. And the colors I have chosen, navy blue and yellow, are not random at all. As you may guess already, they represent the colors of the Swedish national flag. So as you have mentioned already, I am doing my study in the context of Sweden. My name is Nina Łazarczyk-Bilal. I'm a PhD candidate at the Faculty of Management at the University of Warsaw. And today I will discuss the determinants of the entrepreneurial intentions of highly skilled women with refugee experience in Sweden. So the plan of my presentation is pretty traditional. I will start with a brief literature overview to identify a research gap. Then I will specify research goal and hypothesis. Then I will talk about methods and data sources, and I will wrap it up with presenting you the findings. So no surprise, I'm starting with the brief overview of the literature. In general, researchers argue that refugees face much more often different barriers when it comes to starting a company in the host countries than economic migrants. And the academics have even coined the term of the refugee gap, which shows that refugees lag behind in labor market integration. But good news is that refugee gap shrinks faster in case of refugees with tertiary education, and highly skilled refugees are less likely than the non-qualified to suffer from unemployment, and they are more likely to start a company in the host country. The research which we have on highly skilled refugees is pretty small, and what we have relates mostly to teachers and doctors. And lots of research, both on refugee entrepreneurship and highly skilled refugees, is based on qualitative analysis. So there is a need to conduct more quantitative examinations in this field. And besides, highly skilled migrant women have been analyzed so far mostly as voluntary migrants, joining their family members with the status of economic migrants. So there is a need to examine the forced migrants. And last but not least, researchers claim that the determinants of entrepreneurial intentions of refugees should be analyzed not just across gender, nationality, or ethnicity, but by looking through the lens of their qualifications and gender. So to fill the existing research gap, I'm adopting a pretty new and rare perspective. So I'm putting together those three categories: highly skilled refugees and women. And on the top of that, I'm studying the entrepreneurial intentions of this specifically defined group. So the research goal of my study is to analyze the individual level conditions under which highly skilled women with refugee experience are likely to have entrepreneurial intentions. I have formulated 4 hypotheses relating to gender, previous self-employment, leadership experience, and employment-prone occupations. By employment-prone occupations, I mean mostly jobs in teaching sector and healthcare. So now I will read the hypotheses one by one. Number 1, highly skilled women with refugee experience are less likely to have entrepreneurial intentions than their male counterparts. Number 2, highly skilled individuals with refugee experience having previous self-employment are more likely to have entrepreneurial intentions. Number 3, highly skilled individuals with refugee experience having leadership experience in Sweden are more likely to have entrepreneurial intention than those without it. And number 4, highly skilled individuals with refugee experience having employment-prone occupations are less likely to have entrepreneurial intentions than others. So I'm using the quantitative analysis and the case study analysis. The quantitative part is based on the sample of 98 respondents. The sample comes from the Invandrarindex data set collected in 2017. The data are based on online surveys conducted in Swedish language schools, and they encompass the data from immigrants and refugees who came to Sweden between 2011 and 2017. The case study analysis is based on independently collected material. In September 2019, I have conducted a series of semi-structured interviews with refugees living in Sweden, and the case studies are based on 2 such interviews with 2 Syrian women living in Uppsala with refugee experience. So first I'll discuss the quantitative study, and then I will move on to the case study analysis. So the sample of 98 respondents has a bigger share of men. The average age is early 30s, and most of the respondents arrived to Sweden in 2015. All of them are highly skilled and unemployed. Let's have a look at their educational background before they came to Sweden. So men are orange, women are blue. As we can see, most women have completed their education in teaching. Then it's other fields, which means other options which were not available in the questionnaire. Then administration, economics, law, and healthcare. In case of men, these numbers are a little bit more diverse. So most male respondents have completed their education in administration, economics, law, also other, teaching, and then data IT, land management, also healthcare. And let's see what about their previous work experience before they came to Sweden. Once again, in case of women, most of them have gained experience working as teachers. Then 15% didn't have any work experience. Also, more than 15% had experience in other professions. But the second dominant after teaching work experience field is healthcare. So based on the literature, we can say that teaching and healthcare professions are those who are rather employment prone. So they lead to employment rather than self-employment. In case of men, once again, it's more diverse. So the highest number of men have gained their experience in sales, purchasing, and marketing. Then also teaching, but also industry, administration, economics, and law, land management, data IT. These are the descriptive statistics for the variables I'm inserting in the regression. Let's have a quick look. So more than 1/5 of all the respondents possess previous self-employment experience, with a much bigger share of men than women. As I have mentioned already, in terms of employment-prone professions, women dominate here in comparison to men. In terms of leadership experience in Sweden, only 8.2% of respondents have some experience of this kind, but nearly 40% would like to gain it, and once again with a bigger share of men. And last but not least, when it comes to the entrepreneurial intention, so people who answer to the question, would you like to start your own company in Sweden? More than 1/3 of respondents said yes. And surprisingly, women are equally likely to say yes as men. I'm saying surprisingly because, as we see, men, on average, a bigger number of men have previous self-employment experience than women. I'm using the binary logistic regression. This is one of the best methods when we have a categorical outcome variable, which in case here it's entrepreneurial intention. So it answers the question, would you like to start your own company in Sweden? Yes or no? So since we have two categories, I'm using the binary logistic regression. Then predictor variables, I control for age, and to check the differences between men and women, I include also free interactions of gender with other variables. So the results, here they are. Previous self-employment and leadership experience are statistically significant. So they predict the outcome on the outcome variable. And now I will move on to case study analysis to show the nuances of these results and to illustrate them further. So as I have said, I have talked to two Syrian women living in Uppsala. They are not highly skilled. They have completed only secondary education, but still I believe that their reflections about life and challenges in Sweden are valuable for the analysis of highly skilled. They both came to Sweden as family reunion migrants, and both of them had some kind of entrepreneurial intentions. The interviewee A had a rather long-term plan to open either an shop with orthodontist products or a franchise of Turkish store with clothes for Muslim women. The interviewee B didn't see herself as an entrepreneur, but she was actively supporting her husband in opening his repair shop for electronics. Both women had entrepreneurial role models in their families, and both of them mentioned the role of the host country's culture. The interviewee A said it's a norm that women work in Sweden, so she would like to work as well, although she wouldn't work in Syria. And the interviewee B really appreciated women's rights and like opened this emancipatory dimension of refuge. And then last but not least, both women take advantage from the infrastructure to help take care of children. So to wrap up, I would like to say that in line with previous theories, previous self-employment and leadership experience turned out to be statistically significant. So to explain the effect on the entrepreneurial intention, gender was not statistically significant, which was also shown by the descriptive statistics. So although women have, as a group, have much less previous self-employment experience, they are equally likely as men to be willing to start a company in the host country. And this could be potentially explained by the fact that they're having entrepreneurial role models in their families, the cultural aspect of entrepreneurship in Syrian culture, and finally by the encouraging environment of the host country. Thank you very much.